Why don't we start with some golf? Again. Because to me, it does not get any more Scottie Scheffler than the week that dude just had in Northern Ireland. Am I right? Only that dude would show up to the Open Championship to explain to everybody how all this dominant winning really is not that fulfilling. Only to turn around and then dominate his way to yet another unfulfilling major championship. It's almost like this dude is trolling us at this point. Winning comes so easy to him right now that it's just not fulfilling. It's just not what he thought it would be. It just doesn't feel the way he thought it would feel. It's not that special. It's kind of like, I don't know, breathing. He just does it without knowing that he's doing it. It's just natural. You see, to me, that's actually pretty damn entertaining. See, to me, excellence is entertaining. To me, watching a dude at the top of his game, at the top of his sport, dominate like this is pretty much the entire sport, or a reason why sports are so amazing. Because it is legitimate greatness, which is why it baffles me every single time that this guy does something great. And then there's this enormous chorus of people that want to show up out of nowhere just to hate on this guy. And then tell us exactly what he's not. Never mind what he is, but let us know what he's not. As an example, no, Scottie Scheffler is not Eldrick Woods. That's not news. He was never going to be Tiger because nobody was ever going to be Tiger. There's only one Tiger. But I'll tell you who Scottie actually is. What he actually is the best player in the world. And it's not even close. He's one of the most dominant golfers we have ever seen. And yes, that includes Tiger. Tiger. Especially when it comes to majors. And I guarantee Scottie doesn't talk in the third person when he screws up on the course. Anyway, check this stat out. Scottie just became the only golfer in the last 100 years to win his first 4 major championships, all by 3 or more strokes. Like, that's some historic bleep. And then if you want a Tiger comparison, look at this. It's just the same amount of time, or it took the same amount of time, for Scottie to go from 1 to 4 major wins as it took Tiger to go from 1 to 4 major wins. Like the identical amount of time. The same exact amount of days. That's a wild stat. 1,197 days. In other words, since his breakthrough at the 2022 Masters, Scottie has literally been on a Tiger pace. Now, Scottie made that breakthrough later than Tiger did, and is currently 5 years older than Tiger was when Tiger won major number 4. So they're not exactly on the same trajectory. I'm not saying Scottie is necessarily on pace to win 15 majors. Then again, I wouldn't put it past this guy. My point is this. It's legitimate, historical greatness that we're seeing from Scottie, even when compared to Tiger. And we don't just have to compare him to the Cat. There are only 4 other dudes to ever win 4 majors before the age of 30. Here is your list. The Cat, obviously. Seve Ballesteros, Rory, and Brooks Koepka. And while the Tiger comparisons may be a little exhausting, here's another one that fits. On Friday, my man Adam Rank and I discussed the following question on the After Hour, namely, Scottie or the field? Scottie or the field this weekend? And we both picked Scottie. And to me, it was pretty much no-brainer. And since when do we put anybody not named Tiger up against the field going into the weekend at a major, especially that major, the one across the pond? And when was the last time it was so obvious to bet on the number 1 player versus the field on a major weekend? Not since Tiger. What I'm saying is, that is the kind of dominance that we're talking about here. Now, Scottie might not be the Cat. But if he has to be constantly compared to the cat, it's worth pointing out that he's actually dominating in a very similar way right now. Now, of course, Scottie is not a transcendent personality, as we know. And it's, of course, pretty unlikely that Scottie's going to make it to 50. But remember, there was a time where we used to pose the question, not a question of if, but a matter of when Eldrick goes by Jack, and not a matter of if or when, but by a matter of how much. And he never got there. This much I know. Scottie is never going to get caught with a waitress from Perkins. Scottie is never going to get chased down his own driveway by his own wife wielding his own 9-iron and wrap his own car around a light post.
That's private.
But I guess you would all probably like Scottie more if he did get busted with a waitress from Perkins in a Perkins parking lot, or chased down his own driveway by his own wife wielding his own 9. Personally, I've got no problem appreciating this dude as he is. I've also got no problem betting this dude and winning, which I did this weekend. Because, of course, if I was throwing down money on anybody this weekend, that was the guy that I was going to start with. Call me a chalky little bitch. I'm going to call me a chalky little winner. I mean, that's the point, right? That's how good that guy is right now. He's so good that you take him versus the field. He's so good you take him even with heavy favorite odds. He's just the best golfer in the world right now. And there's no reason for anybody to assume that he's going to let up anytime soon, unless he just gets bored and unfulfilled over beating everybody's ass over and over and over again. Let's hear what he probably never gets bored of. I bet Scottie never gets bored of making Phillip look like an ass. Because Hefty's hot take on X from March looks colder and colder and uglier. Check out at Hefty. This is at Hefty, spewing hot lava. Quote, does Scottie win in 2025 before the Ryder Cup? I don't think so. Great take, Hefty.
Hefty.
Hey, Hefty. Way to bring the lava. Way to fling the magma around, Hefty. No wonder you lost 100 mil gambling, according to my dude, Billy Walters. With takes like that about your own sport, I'm surprised it wasn't more. Maybe Hefty actually meant to type, does Scottie win every tournament in 2025 before the Ryder Cup? Because it turns out that would have been a lot closer to an accurate statement than the one Hefty thumbed out.
Phillip.
And by the way, that lava take on X was all part of Phil's bigger argument that Joaquin Niemann was the actual best golfer in the world. You know, that very same Joaquin that missed the cut this weekend. Going great for you livers, by the way. You live golfers. For instance, Cameron Smith, who I sort of kind of like, or did. He was basically, not even basically, he was the second best golfer in the world before he signed with Liv. Now, I'm not here to judge. You know, if they give you 100 mil and let you stay closer to home, that probably would appeal to somebody like that, rather than chasing money all over the globe. The problem is, what the hell happened to his game? This weekend, he became the only player to miss the cut at all 4 majors this year. This guy was the second best golfer in the entire world before he took that money. Cam Smith is like the anti-Scottie. Cam Smith is the opposite Scheffler. Didn't make a major cut all year. He's now missed the last 5 major cuts in a row. And there's nobody on the planet calling him anything near the second best player in the world anymore. However, he does have 100 mil to show for it. Now, it wasn't all bad for the live guys. I'm here to bang on live. Like, we all kind of moved beyond that, sort of. As an example, I'll give you some positive examples of the live guys. Sergio, not a guy that I go way out of my lane to normally hype up. And by that, I mean never. Except Sergio, somehow, some way, miraculously made the cut and actually played pretty well. Especially considering he had no driver for the last 16 holes. Way to keep your head, dude. Look at this guy. Oh, you're in a major championship, bonehead. I know, I'll just break my driver. This dude snapped his driver in half on the second tee box. Way to maintain your composure.
I'm not going to say I lost it, but I definitely...
I'll say this, though. He snapped his driver on the second tee box, yet still somehow, some way, managed to shoot a 68 to finish 3 under for the tourney, which was the same score that Jon Rahm finished with. However, I got to shout out the highest scoring, or lowest scoring, liver of the weekend because, man, my man Bryson, did this guy ever earn it? What a comeback. What a maniac. We talked about this on Friday, but since then, dude shot a 78 Friday, complete with literally swinging and missing. My bad, 78 Thursday. Then he bounces back. And remember, Friday, he swung and missed completely at a ball. Comes roaring back with a 65 on Friday to barely make the cut. That in and of itself was amazing. But then he chased that on Saturday with a 68, and he finished Sunday with a 64 to finish top 10. Tied for 10th. Dude, top 10 to major after starting with a 78. Top 10 to major through sheer will. What a masterclass in determination from Bryson. Man, that is badass.